Welcome to the Movement PT Coffee Cast, where we sit down and talk about physical therapy, health, and whatever else comes to mind during our coffee-infused conversations. All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Movement PT Coffee Cast. My name's Dalton, and with me, as always, is my beautifully bearded friend, William. William, how are we doing today?
Yeah, Dalton, I can't complain. We're finally on. We had some technical difficulties there with Google or Gmail or whatever you call it.
Google didn't want to steal my information. So.
I guess it's probably a good thing. But, we got our coffee here now, so all is good.
All right.
Good.
I have one question before we get started. So you got a new whip.
I did.
Why don't you let the people know what car you got?
It's a Kia Forte. I'm rolling in the fancy car.
Hey, it's good on gas, good for the environment.
That's right, man.
All right, guys, we're back at it with another interview. This week we are interviewing Danny Lehr, who is the co-founder of Caffeine and Kilos. He also owns his own gym. So we're excited to have him on and talk a little bit about community, a little bit about building the business of Caffeine and Kilos, about coaching, and whatever else we come across during our coffee-infused conversation. So, Danny, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate that, guys.
No problem. So, Danny, let's just maybe start off and just have you give a little background to our listeners that may not be familiar with who you are.
Okay, sure. So, how far back do you want to go?
As far as you want. As much time you got. No, just general background.
My earliest memory I was 5 years old at Disneyland. I was a PE teacher. I taught PE for 8 years. It's kind of all I've been interested in is coaching people and in the fitness industry. For a little while in college, I was an economics major, but that's I like economics. Just kind of made sense to me. I've always kind of liked math and understood that type of thing, more math-oriented type person. And then I realized that if I became an economist, I'd have to be inside all day. And so I didn't really like the sound of that very much. So I went back to PE where I can be around people and helping people out. And I had started coaching wrestling when I was in college still, and I really had a passion for coaching people and helping people and really just loved watching people improve and that type of thing. So that led me back to PE, and so that's a good thing. So then I taught PE high school for 8 years. I coached wrestling and a handful of other sports for about 10 years or so. And then somewhere while that was going on, I linked up with a guy who had just started a CrossFit gym here locally. So I went into business with him. That gym, CrossFit Excel, we've been open for 10 years actually as of this year. So that's been fun, great experience. Nice. And then about in 2013, me and another gym owner and a friend of his, we all kind of started talking, and Caffeine and Kilos kind of came about basically out of that. And so then that started getting busy. And so I was, working from 4:30 or 5 a.m. until it was time to go to school. And then after school, I would coach practice, and I had a child at this exact same time. And then I'd get home, and after the kid was in bed at 7:30 at night, I would then work until 10:30, and that wasn't sustainable. So something's got to give, and so after a couple years of that, I quit teaching, and then have been kind of full time in the gym and Caffeine and Kilos since then. So it's been about three years now or so where that's just been what I've been doing.
Nice. I understand why you need the caffeine now. Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always been a pretty excitable person. Get fired up. Love to get fired up. So it just kind of makes sense, with or without the coffee. That's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool that I came you have obviously always been interested in coaching and everything, and I think and teaching. That's something that we definitely share. And is a big reason why we got into physiotherapy and stuff is really from enjoying that process of helping people get better,
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
But I think we can also agree we share the same love for coffee.
Oh, dude, it's just, they just go hand in hand. And that's what people sometimes, it's funny, people in the fitness industry totally get it. But every now and then we have, I'm somewhere or I don't know okay. This morning I got that's why I wanted to push the call back myself, as I had a CT scan on my elbow. I've got some issues going on. But so it's funny, I go in for the thing and okay, well, like, who's your employer doing this? And Caffeine and Kilos. And I said, it says like coffee shops. Yeah, kind of, it's like coffee and the apparel. It's like, well, coffee and t-shirts, doesn't make a lot of sense to some people, the connection there. But people that are in the fitness industry, they totally get it. They say, that's absolutely makes sense, and anyway, so it's just kind of funny how that goes. It's like the common thread there is the fitness and is the community and is that type of thing. But again, people who are not even just CrossFit, but just people that work out in general. That we actually have quite a few football players, guys that are in the NFL now, and Major League Baseball players and some NHL guys that all love the brand and are totally behind it in this whole thing. And it's funny because the guy's never done a CrossFit workout in his life, but they get it, right? They understand. And so some of them have background in or during their combine prep went to California Strength, or it's a big weightlifting base, that type of thing. But even without that, just we have good relationship with a lot of college strength coaches. Same thing. Like, to them, they hear the name and it just clicks. Like, yep, makes sense. Know exactly what's going on. Yeah, it's that whole strength conditioning. It's right up that alley. If you ever want to find some guys who just love banging weights and slamming coffee, just go to any college and go straight to the weight room and find the strength conditioning coach. Yeah, and I guarantee that guy's got his mug of coffee out and the music's loud, and he's just clanging and banging. He's just there to catch the feel the steel, catch the vibe and feel the steel. So.
It's so funny too. I wonder if like part of it too is like the weightlifting community and like people who are engaged with like fitness and stuff. Like you enjoy like kind of like that process, right? Like.
That's it. And that's the whole thing is, and that's what really draws me to. And that's something that what I like about business so much is the problem solving. Mm-hmm. That's what all of athletics are, problem solving. If you're going to get better at an activity, whether that be a sport or just better at fitness in general or whatever, it's okay. Right now, this is what I'm capable of. If I take these steps, you're capable of this. And so it's like doing something that you may not see the tangible results that day, but then the results show up over time. Like, to me, that's the most exciting thing in the world, and that's what business is. That's what any new skill is. And so that's why I love it. I love business. I love the whole thing about the fitness industry. The fitness industry, it's great because the exact same thing happens. But then on the other side of it, people are just better. You're just a better person. You're people that are in good. It's like you just find yourself being in a better mood and being nicer to people and feeling better about yourself and better about others. And that's really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of the process, something that we want to ask you. So one of our goals, like our lifetime goals for our brand, is to have our own coffee blend as well. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to hear about the process that you guys went through, like finding out like the PR blend and the night train, like how that went. And like, I'm sure that was just amazing to like just sip coffee and pick which one you want.
Oh, dude, it's interesting. Well, so the actual process to getting started is pretty easy. You just fire up the Google machine and start contacting roasters. And so we were calling people all over the country, and the guy that we actually got in contact with and have the best relationship with now is from Sacramento, where we're based out of, and so it's right there local to us. Yeah. And so we just contact him, but we say, instead of just saying we want great coffee, we said, hey, let's make coffee that has a little higher caffeine content. And this guy, we talked to a few people about this, and they're just kind of like, okay, but this guy was pumped up. He's like, oh no, this is interesting. He's like, everyone always calls and says I want the best coffee, but like, how many times can you make the best coffee ever? And so, which by the way, the answer to that is once, obviously. Yeah. You can find something they like, but so he's like, let me do some research. Let me look into this. And he gets back to me and I'm doing research on my end as well, and so he gets back and said, okay, well, I found there's certain types of beans that have twice as much caffeine and as other types, and normally they don't taste as good. So, but if we blend them, but there's this one kind of that bean, that's or that one, like basically strain of that bean that's really expensive, but actually tastes decent, even though it has higher caffeine content. Right. And so if we take that, if we blend it with really good coffee on the other end, then, we might be okay. And so then we bought a bunch of different types of coffee and I got that, different origins and everything. And then we just blended them different ratios. And so we blended them from, okay, this one is, 75-25, 50-50, 70-20-30 the other way, and then we tasted them all and picked the one we liked best. And he was doing the same, obviously, and kind of had his suggestions. And then we went with it, But the cupping, it's called cupping, is basically when you taste different coffee. It's really interesting. It's like wine tasting is what it is. Like you get in there and you try it and you talk about the flavor notes, So it's just like in wine, you'd be like, oh, this one's really earthy or, fruity or whatever. The tannins, it's all the same shit in coffee. You're like, oh yeah, this one is really like notes of tobacco, or it's nutty, or this one actually tastes kind of piney. Like we have a holiday blend. I swear to God, I'm out in the front yard right now if you hear cars going by. Anyway, I'm sitting in the porch. So it's like if you the motorcycle didn't drive to my office. I'm on my porch. Anyway, so it's just interesting, this one. Oh, that's what I was saying. And we have a Christmas blend that I swear you taste it and you're like, yeah, this shit tastes like Christmas trees,
That's amazing.
Like, but in a good way, like not like doesn't taste like you're chewing on pine needles, but like it tastes like coffee, but like there's like hints of like holly or Christmas trees, it's weird, piney. So that's we use that for our holiday blend. So yeah, so it's fun. And so it's really fun when we're coming out with new blends, because we kind of tell him what we're looking for. We say, hey, it's gonna be a holiday blend. And so then he'll do a bunch of research and get different beans that have different flavor profiles that match that, whatever the particular feel is for that blend. Then he'll set them up, blend them different ways, roast them to different levels. And then we go to the roaster. Like I said, it's pretty close to us, and do the cupping. So, and then it's funny. So you taste, you don't drink a full cup of them. You just kind of taste them.
Yeah.
You go around, you taste whatever, 10 different kinds. And then a lot of times, and it's like, then you narrow it down to 2 or 3, and then you taste those 2 or 3 again. Right. So by the time it's said and done, even though you're just tasting them, if you're not spitting it out, if you're swallowing the coffee, like you're, 3-4 cups of coffee in. But the thing is, it's 3 or 4 cups like in half an hour. Right. And so next thing you know, you're just like, oh, I just realized that I'm fucking fired up. Right. And then this last time one guy who's with us is like, yeah, dude, I'm sweating. Like, he's like, I just realized that I'm sweating for like no reason.
We've definitely been there. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Maybe we got to do some cupping.
Yeah.
That sounds like something up our alley.
Yeah.
Dude, you should contact a local roaster and ask them if they do because like our guy, I think sometimes they do events, whatever, like they'll host cupping events and have people come by and that type of thing. So you could do something like that, it could be really cool.
Oh, that'd be so
That would be cool. Let's transition a little bit into like the brand and the community. So I really like what your guys' mission statement, quality without sacrifice. So with regards to that, like, what does that mean to you, and how do you guys go about trying to display that through your company and what you guys do?
Yeah. So the whole idea of quality without sacrifice is basically that we say this all the time, is that if you're good at marketing and good at sales and maybe good at building pretty websites, like you can sell something somebody wants, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's not the hardest thing in the world. The thing is that if it's not a good quality product, if it's not something that you're proud of, or really if it's not something that the purchaser is proud of, they're not going to buy from you again. And then what are they going to tell other people about it? And that's the thing right there, is that if somebody's extremely happy with your service, right? Like what do they tell? Like 3 people, 5 people. But if somebody is pissed off about what you offer your service, they're going to tell 30 people. Like that's absolutely the way it is, right? So if you don't put quality as the key ingredient to whatever you're doing, then you're wasting your time. You're putting forth a lot of work, and you're not necessarily going to get the payoff there, or at least you might. But if they're you're going to spend a lot more money on marketing and customer acquisition and that type of thing, because you're going to have to get a new schmuck every time. And that's not a way I want to live my life or deal with that, So I really believe that kind of quality without sacrifice is really, that's just good, sound business practices. That's just being ethical. Like if you're selling, I guess there's nothing wrong with selling someone something that's okay quality if it's like a low price point and they know what they're buying. Like, here we go. Like McDonald's sells a shit ton of food, and I don't think anybody considers that quality food, right? Like pretty much everyone that goes to McDonald's, you know exactly what you're getting. Like I'm getting fucking $2 French fries. Like that's what I'm getting.
No, yeah.
And so so that's what you want to do. Like that's fine. I mean, shit, same thing. If I go on Amazon to buy a phone charger or whatever, like I don't expect it to be the best phone charger I've ever bought in my life because I bought the cheapest one on Amazon, So that's one way to do business. And then there's the way that we believe in, which is you make the nicest thing you can. You make stuff that you're proud of. You make stuff that you want to wear. You make things that your customer base is going to be proud to wear. And that's where you can really make an impact on people. So our mission statement in Caffeine and Kilos revolves around spreading an active lifestyle. And so that's why that is so important to us as well. It's not just that we believe it's the ethical thing to do and the right thing to do, but if our mission statement and our purpose as a company is to spread the message, there's a fly, is to spread the message. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw the fly.
Anyway, if our goal is to spread the message of an active lifestyle and to try and encourage that, spread that active lifestyle, in order to do that, we need our customer base to be proud to wear our stuff, to represent our company, because that's how we do it. All of our customers are the vehicle in which we can spread the message of an active lifestyle. And so that's why the brand resonates with so many people, is that they have that same feeling. They believe in an active lifestyle. They believe in exercise. They believe in, drinking coffee and getting fired, really. And it's whatever it is to you, right? Like Caffeine and Kilos, like getting fired up and attacking the day is basically what it's about, right? Getting motivated and then doing something hard, doing something that's good for you. So they believe in that, and that's the lifestyle they live. And so if we made shitty products, they wouldn't want to wear that. Then they wouldn't be representing it. They wouldn't wear it about. They wouldn't be proud to be a part of that lifestyle. And then we're not spreading shit, Or I guess then we are spreading shit. I guess however you want to say it.
No, that's totally true. It's something like we've actually talked a lot about. It's very similar to what we're doing, because honestly, like one of the biggest issues with like physio is it's not really cool. Like people don't really want to learn about pain and their bodies and stuff like that. And so like something that, we try to do when we're putting out information, we try to make it fun. We try to make it interesting and quality, so that people will want to be more engaged with it and be more active and have that kind of lifestyle.
No, that's exactly it. And physical therapy it's so important, man. Like actually at my gym, we have a physical therapist that works out of there. Oh, and cool. Right now we're working on putting together a plan. It's like a wellness plan where they get unlimited classes, but then also they get like 3 times a year, they get an appointment with the physical therapist. And that's just part of their membership there. It's just so good to just get in touch with people. And it's like, all right, maybe you don't have any injuries right now, but like anybody who exercises regularly, something is tight or something is tweaked or something bothers them when they X, right? Like that's the type of thing. When I X, Y bothers me a little bit, right? Like that's everybody. That's just kind of how it goes. And so it's like you just get in touch with a therapist a couple times a week. They can get those kinks worked out before they develop into something that's bigger, Yeah. So I like that.
Yeah, no, and I think it's something that we're big fans of too, is having like our thought is to have like the combination of CrossFit coaches or strength coaches and physical therapists and everyone kind of working together. Is that way they can all be on the same page. You can be on the
common goal.
Yeah, you can be on the same page with like your narratives. You can be on the same page of like what everyone's doing. Like, and those people don't have to leave the community. That's it. Hard is like you can have someone at your gym like that needs some help, instead of sending them out to someone that you don't know. You know that you have that quality right there in the gym, and they don't have to feel like they have to leave what they're attached to and come back. And I think that's super powerful.
Well, where are they more likely to go? They're more likely to go to somebody who's at the facility they already go to. They already go to the gym. They're comfortable going there. They're familiar with going there. Or are they going to call an office that's not at that place and they got to go to that whole other place? There's more barrier there. It's a bigger friction point between them seeing somebody who actually can help them, right? So by bringing somebody into the facility, or even if it's one day a week, someone just kind of works out of your facility, it's just removing that friction for people, but getting the help that they actually need before it develops into a bigger problem.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah,
that's something like in the physio world, like those social factors are huge, like in what we talk about a lot, like so those social barriers, and I think like just being in an environment where it is like motivating, right? Like you're seeing, if say you're having trouble with like squatting, and you're seeing people that were in your place maybe a couple weeks ago, and now they're like squatting and stuff. Like you're more likely to feel motivated, and that drive is super important in like the success of your rehab and getting back into things, So I think that's awesome.
Absolutely. And then also, like you can see them at the facility, you do if you need any soft tissue work, whatever you need to do with them. And then you can take them out on the gym floor and teach them the exercises. They're not learning the exercises in the physio's office using these fucking bands you don't have access to. Like you are in the gym, you learn the exercises with the equipment that you have access to on a daily basis. Yeah. Right. So you're more likely to actually do the exercises because you grab the same kettlebell you used when they taught you. You go to the same fucking spot on the gym floor where they taught you how to do it. You put your back against the same wall that they put your back against, and so it's removing that friction from actually doing their exercises and their homework.
Yeah, man, for sure. That's awesome. Speaking of like community, I know like you're obviously a big part of like building the culture at Caffeine Kilos and at your gym. What are some things that you think are key to like building a successful culture within like a business or a brand or whatever it may be?
Well, number one, and this might sound corny or cliche or whatever, but authenticity really is important. And people, it's the truth. You have to be yourself. And the thing is that people get weird, like, well, do people like this or people like that? Man, just be yourself, because here's the news is some people are going to like it. Like actually more people are like you than you think. Okay. That's absolutely a fact. With everybody in the world, right? There's 7 billion people in this world. More people, you have more in common with people than you think you do with a lot of people. And then here's the other side of that is that some people are absolutely not going to like it and are not going to get along with you. And that's actually good news also, because if they don't really like your message and aren't about what you're all about, or they don't like the fact that every now and then I say the fuck word or whatever it is, like, then they're probably not going to be involved with us anyway. Like they're not going to be opening our emails. They're not going to buy anything from Caffeine Kilos. They're not going to wear our stuff. They're not going to help us spread the message of an active lifestyle. Like they're not going to do those things. So if they're not helping the company further the mission, then why do you want them following you? And so it's the same thing with gym. Like you go to different gyms, like it's funny, especially CrossFit gyms. Like I can go to any CrossFit gym in the world and I know half the people in the class just because you don't physically know them. Like I know that guy. Like I don't know that guy, but I know that guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I have one of those at my gym, but at my gym, that guy's name is Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like that's exactly it. Yeah. So although that's true, that's definitely true. What's also true is every gym does have its own kind of vibe. Like it's a little bit of a different vibe, a little bit different community. And so if you are yourself and if you're authentic, and you do what you like and you treat people the right way and you do what you believe in, then what happens is, or maybe you don't treat people the right way and then you get a bunch of assholes that like that too, But the point is just be yourself, and then people that are drawn to you will come to you, and you'll have that community. And the people who, and then you'll also, another benefit is you'll repel people who don't agree with you and don't like your message and can't resonate with what you have going on, So that's really the whole thing. You want to build a community, you want to build one that you can be proud of. Then you just need to be yourself and do what you believe in. That's really the most important thing. I'm a huge believer in treating people the right way. It's the whole golden rule thing. It's absolutely where it's at. It's like treat people the way that you want to be treated. Like that's the bottom line. And so I really believe if you are constantly striving to do the right thing, you're going to be fine. I hate the expression, like when people say that's just business, or whatever, like that always pisses me off. It's like, no, like you can't say that's just business and then act like an asshole. Like it's like, oh, just kidding. It's like, like you can't, it's not the way it works. I don't need to justify when I'm going to sleep at night. I don't have to tell myself anything. Yeah. Like I don't need to tell myself that I screwed this person over, but that's just business. I don't believe in that. I just believe in you treat people the right way, and then you have to just live with a clear conscience, and that's the best way to go about it. And that's going to ultimately build your community more than anything else.
What's awesome too is we were actually talking about this before, because so Dalton has followed you guys for a long time. Like I don't know how long you guys.
I don't know. I've been around when you guys were doing like the road dog. That was my favorite thing ever.
Oh, best week of my life. Yeah.
But I like, so he showed me you guys like probably last year. And so I knew the brand for a while. And then I kind of looked more into it and I found out the YouTube channel and stuff. And what I really realized was when I knew the brand and then I knew you guys, I realized it was the same thing. Like it was totally authentic. You guys totally represent what is put out on like the platforms and stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There was no difference.
No, it's the same thing. Like that's exactly it. Is all of our most of our media and everything is done in house, or if we go somewhere else to film something, we're highly involved with that. My business partner Dean, he's a fantastic photographer. I'd say 95% of the pictures that are on our social media and everything like that, he took those pictures,
Yeah.
And so if the owner of the company is the one who's creating the imagery and posting it on Instagram, then that obviously says something about what's going on, and then as we've hired people, we still have a pretty small team, but the few people we brought on board, they're all people that are involved in it also, like one guy is involved, actually goes to my gym, and he's been on board since day one. And actually a girl that works as customer service for us, I was actually her high school PE teacher when she was a freshman in high school.
Nice.
No way.
Yeah. And then she goes to my gym. She was going to my gym, and then she was moving up to Sacramento for school, whatever. And I said, hey, you need a job up there. And so she's been working for us. And so it's these people that are on board are 100% behind what we're doing and can relate to it. And so that's kind of the whole community and the environment that we have at our headquarters for Caffeine and Kilos, so anyway, so that's exactly it. It is exactly what you think it is.
Yeah, for sure. The one thing I wanted to ask you, obviously you guys started out being something fun. You guys love, weightlifting, drinking coffee and all that stuff. But when did it actually start to come into its own of the vision for what you guys wanted to do? I think what people don't tend to realize is the process is, going back to the process, is super long, and many things probably change over the course of time. So how was that for you guys?
Yeah. So, just real quick on the last thing. One thing is that if people want to kind of get that inside scoop, is Dean and I, we have a podcast that's called Gas Station Cappuccino. So if you want to kind of get a little personality, a little behind the brand, behind the scenes, if you listen to Gas Station Cappuccino, I'm not sure you're going to learn anything, but well, you'll learn about our personalities, I guess. So back to the other question, though, is so when we started the company, we started because we wanted to host a competition, and that's really how it all went down. Is this guy called me and said, "Hey, man, I want," and we weren't even that good of friends at the time. We just kind of knew each other, aware of each other, I guess, acquaintances, I suppose you could say. He didn't have my number; he had to call. He called somebody else to get my number, type thing, and said, "Hey, man, I got this idea. I want to host this competition and want to have it be the biggest weightlifting meet, in the country and this whole thing." And I'm like, all right, yeah, I like this idea. That's cool. But to do that, we're going to need, we could do that. We could get the top weightlifters in the country out, because I was lifting at a national level at that point for a couple of years. So I knew them. I knew a lot of the top lifters in the country, or at least familiar with them and that type of thing. So, if we offer a cash prize and we give them an audience to lift in front of, we can get people to fly out from all over the country, So that sounded cool. That sounded exciting. And then, where are we going to get money for this cash prize? Well, we could just, what if we hold a CrossFit competition during the day? We get all these teams out, and then we'll get sponsors to pay for the venue. Then we can use some of the proceeds from the competition for prizing. And then a lot of those guys will stick around. Now we got an audience. So there we go. Now we got prize, audience, and all that type of thing. Sounds great. There was no company yet. This is just, we're going to host a competition, So we go and we booked a venue. I just put on my credit card and didn't tell my wife. And then, as long as we get so many teams, it's going to be fine. Right. No worries. If we either get a sponsor or, 20 teams signed up, then I'm straight, so no big deal. So we did that. And then we just that was kind of how it all started, And then we were talking about the shirts and the coffee and everything. And then we kind of realized that the apparel, the merchandise, basically the apparel and the coffee and the competition were all one idea. They weren't 2 or 3 separate ideas. They were actually just all one idea, And so that's kind of how the whole thing went down. So we actually have the competition still going on. It's actually in about a week away, October 6th this year. is the Caffeine and Kilos Invitational. It is the 5th. Yeah, I think it's the 5th or 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It's the 6th one.
There you go.
The
That's
6th.
the math that you're good at right there.
Fingers. Fingers. Yeah. So it's cool. You know, we still give cash prizes for the weightlifters. We sold out teams this year for the fitness competition. We got 48 teams of 4 coming out for the CrossFit style comp. Now we have a deadlift pull only competition there. And then also, yeah, so it's great. Pull only, just show up and pull. Yeah. And then also the weightlifting meet isn't just the invite session anymore. We have a local meet that goes all day long. And then at 4:00 in the afternoon, there's an invitation only session where they get cash prizes. So it's kind of turning into almost like this, you know, one day festival, right? Sweet. So it's been cool. It's been great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. In terms of like some piece of advice that you would maybe give people that are just starting out in terms of like building their brand, like what was that one thing? I know you talked about authenticity, but if there's one other thing that really helped you guys build what you got going on at your gym and even at Caffeine and Kilos, like what would that be?
Man, it's funny because people say this all the time now too, but it's like you just have to keep doing things. Like you just have to take action, you know. A lot of people have ideas and wait on them, and to be honest, like I'm guilty of this too. I was talking to my co-owner Dean about it the other day. We were talking about how, you know, there's various things that you kind of get started on and then something else takes priority, right? And so sometimes the other thing that takes priority, in fact, should be the priority, and sometimes not, you know. And I think people get caught in kind of two zones a lot. One is where they just are not taking action. They're just like waiting till the next day, or, oh, I didn't have time today. It's like, nah, like let's see here. You slept 8 hours. Okay, that's good. You should do that. Well, there's another 16 hours in the day. Like, I don't think that you were busy the other 16 hours, you know, like you probably, instead of watching 3 episodes of Game of Thrones last night, like maybe 1, or like, I don't know, maybe 0, you know, and you can get some stuff done. Right. And maybe start, it sounds crazy. Maybe start waking up, you know, before 5 a.m. or at 5 a.m., you know. There's different things you can do. And then talk about like, what are you doing with the time where you are? So the second part is what you know the time you're all working, right? You know, like basically if you are sitting in front of an open email box, you are procrastinating. Like you are not doing something else that needs to be done. The more frequently you check your email, you can tell how badly you don't want to do other things by how frequently you check your email. Oh, yeah. That's absolutely a fact, right? And so that's every time you go to and refresh your inbox, you are procrastinating on something more important that needs to be done. Like that is 100% a fact, you know. Obviously, I shouldn't say 100. Like maybe you're waiting for an email from somebody so you can move something forward. That's different, right? Yeah. Or sending emails, right? But if you're sending emails, that doesn't require sitting there refreshing it, waiting for something to distract you. Right. So I think that's the biggest thing is taking action, and taking the action needs to be done, right? Yes. So like, what are you doing while you're working? Make sure that you're doing productive things. And then I know you said like one thing, and I think those are related. But then here's something else that's related to both of those things. Is something that I've been doing for about a year now, which makes a huge difference, is Andy Frisella has this thing called the Power List. Yeah. And so the Power List is, I've been doing, and it really does make a difference for me, is you get 5 things. That's it. You don't get 6. You don't get fucking 3. You could do 3, I guess, but you get 5. Okay. Because those 5 things, some of them are going to be personal life and some are going to be business. So say 1 or 2 kind of personal things, and then you get, you know, whatever 3 or 4 business things. And you, every day, you're at the day's date, and then day 1, on day 1, and 2, and so on. And then you go, okay, number 1. And then you go, okay, what is something in your personal life? What is a critical task or habit you want to form? It's like, okay, well, you know what? I know I'm supposed to floss every day. Realistically, I floss every day for the 3 days leading up to going to the dentist, right? So if I want to change that to like actually flossing every day, then number 1 is going to be floss. I'm going to floss today, right? And then maybe number 2 is no phone at the dinner table. You know, I know that's a bad habit, so I need no phone at the dinner table. All right. And then the 3, 4, 5 are maybe work related tasks, right? But it's not a to-do list. It's critical tasks. Like what is if I do nothing else today, what 2 or 3 things can I write down that will move something forward in my business, right? So then you get those 5 things. And then at the end, then you cross them off as you go, whatever. At the end of the day or the next morning, whatever, you open it up. And if you did all 5 things, you write a W at the bottom of the page. You won the day. If you didn't complete all 5 tasks, you write an L. You took an L that day. Okay. And then that's how it goes. And then like, guess what? Like say you accomplished 3 out of those 5, you still took an L that day for sure. But you know what? Like 3 out of 5, I mean, you did score more points than you didn't, right? Like that's still that's like a quasi win, right? The point is you write an L at the bottom of the page because you didn't do all 5. You took a loss that day because you can't do 5 fucking things. I mean, come on. So then day 2, if it's a habit you're trying to form, like floss, whatever, day 2, you write that in again, flossing again, no phone at the dinner table, writing those habits in. And then you go on to your 3 business tasks that are different, that are maybe habits, maybe you're trying to form, maybe they're just critical tasks. And you keep going in that. And then after say 20, 30 days, you notice that like, I've been writing floss every day, but now it's just what I do. Like before I go to bed, instead of grabbing the toothbrush or grab the floss first, it's just now it's a habit. So then you can bang that out of there and slide in something else that you needs to get done, right? Or you want to start forming the habit. So then over 100 days, the notebook's out, you run out of the notebook, and then you write on the front, big fat Sharpie, what your fucking score was, right? Was it 90 to 10? Was it 40 to 60? Did you win those 100 days, right? Mm-hmm. And so, the goal is obviously to win more days than you lose, because that's how sports work. That's how you win or you lose. The other thing is, what the real goal is? The real goal is to go 100 and 0, right? 100 no, right? Fuck it. It's a blow. There's no mercy rules in life. Okay. I'll tell you that right now. Like that's not how shit happens. Okay. No one's gonna just stop. No one's gonna just stop giving you shit. All of a sudden you're not just gonna like get this windfall of income because, life was tired of you not getting any money for not doing shit. Like that's not how it works. Okay. So like the goal. So why would you take sympathy on your own life and on life in general? Like, oh man, well I'm already up fucking 82 to 0. So I'm going to mail in the next 18 days. It's like, no, it's horseshit, like accomplish those 100 days, 100 to 0, fucking make it a blowout or finish this off. Right. And then when those 100 days are over, you start fresh, all right, here we go. You can go day 101 or you can go day 1 again, whatever you want to do. But just those 5 critical tasks every single day. And the most important part of that is at the end, the bottom of the page, you write a W or you write an L, right? And then you just stack up those fucking W's and you will get more things done in your life, in your business, with your family, with everything you're trying to do. Like that is just a game changer.
Yeah, that's it. Like drop the mic. Yeah. No, I think that's a good point though, because I think I've even found myself sometimes like there's so much, you have a lot of things going on and trying to put in things that are critical that you need to get, it just helps. It helps put you in better order and make sure you're actually doing things than just having a bunch of things and doing a little bit of each thing and not really moving the needle forward, right? You're
not spinning your wheels on something. And something else, you're writing that list, this is what happens. Something pops in your mind and your initial thought is, oh fuck, I don't really want to do that today. Well, when that thought happens, you have to write it down. Yeah. Right. Because the thing is now, and I find that I'm actually more likely to write, if I was writing a to-do list, I probably would have left it off. But when I'm doing the power list, I know I'm trying these 5 things. Something pops on mind that I don't really want to do. And I think I don't want to do it. I go, that's it. I got to write that down because I know damn well that's a critical task if I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Like that's that simple, Yeah. And so then they get done and then you end up doing those tasks, and that's a huge part of kind of how that goes.
It's hilarious. Like the parallels with coffee are actually funny because I've talked to some people, who aren't necessarily like big into coffee and they'll ask how I like make my coffee or whatever.
No.
Like, I use an AeroPress and they're like, oh, like how long does that take? And I'm like 5 minutes. And I don't have the time for that. And I'm like, you don't have the time for 5 minutes with an AeroPress?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, oh, you don't. It's yeah. Well, of course not. Well, here's the thing. It's like, well, how do you make it? Like just like a drip coffee pot? Well, that takes like fucking 10 minutes. Yeah. Like, what are you like? Well, I can do other stuff while it's dripping. Well, it's not like you have to fucking stand there while it's steeping in the AeroPress either. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, dude, I'm with you there. And AeroPress is my favorite way to make coffee.
Oh, that was gonna be our next
Yeah,
question.
we're gonna ask
because we watched like obviously the skate.
This is how we brew it.
Yeah, and we may or may not have somewhat took the idea and brought it to our podcast when we asked our guests how they like to brew their coffee. It may have came from you guys, may not.
That's awesome, dude. We have, so we just like, what I do is I just go on Amazon and look up a different way. Like I try and find another like way to brew coffee that we don't have or I've never heard of, and then we just buy it, and then we figure out how to use it on camera.
The siphon one was hilarious. The siphon one when you guys like the water like.
Put out the fire and didn't work.
Rigged it up.
You just happen to have the other like alcohol, whatever flavor.
The other alcohol lamp or whatever behind us. Yeah, because we have. Yeah. Let me tell you, you're not. Look. This is the bottom line right here. You're not serious about making coffee unless you need denatured alcohol. You know what I mean? Like if none of your coffee apparatuses, I'm not really sure the plural there. Anyway, if none of your coffee makers require denatured alcohol, you're still a fucking rookie. That's bottom line.
I got 2 questions for you then.
Or a propane torch. We got one thing. It actually came with a propane torch. Anyway, but then we had to buy the propane.
That's amazing.
That's epic.
Yeah.
What is one we should try based off of uniqueness, and what is one we should try based off quality?
Okay. Well, okay. So first one, uniqueness, like you just got to do it, is because it's fun, but it's very unique, is the, oh man, that's tough. So my initial thought was there's this thing called a Bripe. Okay. And the Bripe's actually a Canadian company. So you guys like that. Yeah. So it's the Bripe brew pipe is what that stands for. So it's like copper and it looks like a pipe, right? Not like the copper pipes you used to make in high school from the hardware store for your pot. But like it's not like sink fixtures tied together. It looks like an old detective's pipe. You know what I'm saying? Like, like the downward stem and everything. Anyway, so it's like this old pipe like that, and then so you put and then it has a screen that looks just like a screen for a pipe. Anyway, that's specially made for it goes down in there, and you put the ground straight in it, and then you just put water in it, and that's the one that actually came with the torch. It comes with like a little propane torch.
Amazing.
And so yeah, a butane. Sorry, it's a butane torch, not
okay.
propane.
Yeah.
So there's butane, but this thing's like it's not like a butane lighter. This thing's it's a butane torch, right? Like legit. So you gotta use the butane torch, and you light it up. And once the water starts boiling, whatever, then you stop, and then you have to blow some air down through the pipe to clear the grounds off the screen, and then you can suck the coffee in through the stem.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
And so it makes like this espresso, and it was actually really good. Like it actually ended up making it was really good coffee. It's strong as shit. Like because it's not that much. I mean, it's
a quick hitter, man.
It's maybe like a shot glass full or 2 shot glasses, like 2 shot glasses worth of coffee, I'd say. But like that shit lights you up, right? Because it's great. Like it's great. And the guy made it for like camping, backpacking, like that type of thing, right? It's like, hey, like you're up in the woods, you don't want to. It's small, compact. It comes in a little carrying kit, like the whole thing. So yeah, dude, that one's fun. And then, and like, I mean, come on, you get to play with a butane torch. So that's great.
So that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the pictures, like if you watch like the video stuff, like it's like this old dude he looks like he could have been on the Red Green Show. Do you guys know what the Red Green Show is?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's this like old Canadian Hicks. Like,
yeah.
It's great. You should look up the Red Green Show. It's fantastic. But, anyway, this guy's got like this beard, and it's like this whole thing. It's like Willie Nelson camping, Yeah, dude. So that's one. And then I'd say, and then a siphon brewer. Like if you never use a siphon brewer, like get a siphon brewer. They're chill. Actually, that flies by. There's a couple kinds. You can just get a straight up siphon brewer, like a vertical stacking one. That's cool. But if you're going to get a siphon brewer anyway, getting the Belgium style siphon brewers are even more fun. They're like almost like a party trick because they're side by side. So there's a tank on one side, and it's like on a scale, like an old triple beam scale. So there's like the tank on one side and then the other balance scale. Then the other side is like a glass tank that you put the grounds in, and then it happens with a denatured alcohol lamp it comes with. And so it heats up the water, and as the water heats up, it pushes it in the other, but instead of going straight up in like a siphon brewer, it goes in the other side, in the other tank. And then as the water exits that first vessel, it then gets lighter. So then that's where the balance scale comes in. So then it lifts it up, which then closes the lid on the torch, or not on the torch, on the wick, whatever, right?
Oh my God.
So like it automatically cuts off the heat itself. So like a regular siphon brewer, you got to slide out right, like we did, or put it out with water like we don't accident. This one, it automatically shuts it down and stops the heat. So then as the temperature cools inside of that, it then sucks the coffee back into that first vessel. So it's cool because it's on a balance scale. So like you just light this wick and the alcohol starts burning. All of a sudden, like bing, clicks one way when all the water's in there, and then it's brewing because the water's mixing with the grounds. The hot water's mixed with the grounds. And then as it cools, it sucks it back into the other side, and bing, and then the scales flip back.
That is definitely a party trick. Like imagine like you have people over and they're like, "Oh, can we get some coffee?" And you're like,
dude,
"Say no more."
That's what we talk about all the time. Like it's like, dude, I wanna I wanna have people over for dinner just so I can do it. Like I'm gonna take it home because it's at the warehouse. I take it home and just be like, just have it there. Be like, anybody want any coffee? Oh yeah, I'll have some. And then you fucking pop that thing on the counter, dude. Could you imagine? Like people lose their shit. Like it's 100%. It's like it's a conversation starter. You pop that thing on the counter, everybody they're on like, what's going on here? Like what exactly? Oh, chemistry set, like, dude, that's So sounds like, so I would say those two things are like, and get them on Amazon. They're not crazy. It's the Bripe site. I think the Bripe site is funny because it's like the smallest used thing. They're like $60, I think. Yeah. But then but it's worth it. It's worth every penny. And then the Belgium style coffee brewer, I think like it's over 100, but it's less than 200.
Okay, nice.
So it's not like, it's not crazy. It's not like this, $500, press like they have out there.
Right.
So you could probably get one for like $140, maybe something like that.
Sweet.
So dude, $200 and two of the coolest ways you could ever imagine to make coffee.
So much fun.
So much, and they both involve fire. Like there's a whole lot to like.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a awesome place to end it. We're the Coffee Cast, and you're the Caffeine Kilos. We got to end it on coffee. So we just want to thank you for taking the time, man, to come on and talk with us. It's we've really admired like your brand, and it's been cool to sit down and chat with you. So if you want to just leave where people can find you or get a little bit more information about Caffeine Kilos or whatever else you guys got going on, just let everyone know.
Yeah, man. So my name is Danny Lehr. If you just go on Instagram at Danny_Lehr, that's Lehr. That'd be the best way to find me. But of course, follow Caffeine and Kilos, all spelled out. You can go to caffeineandkilos.com if you want to check out that stuff, get some great coffee. We actually have super cheap shipping rates to Canada. Super cheap is relative, but it's cheaper for us to ship to Canada than any other international shipping. Like we change the rates to make sure that we take care of you guys. So there you go. So check out Caffeine and Kilos. And if you don't remember any of that, just go to DannyLehr.com. Everything else will link to.
Perfect. Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
No problem. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.